Okay, so we're going to do some tagging with the tagging panel that we've set up earlier. One slight change to the tagging panel I want to point out to you. If we go into the edit part here, on the values, where it says successful and unsuccessful, in the category section, I've just repeated what each one is. So on the successful button in category I've put successful, and on the unsuccessful button in category I've put unsuccessful. The reason for that is that when we tag, the successful and unsuccessful will then appear in here as well. It'll make more sense as we tag. What I'm going to do now is go to maximize workspace. You can push the F9 button and it'll do the same thing. And this just gets rid of a lot of things and makes it a bit clearer to work in. Okay, so we've got our volleyball match here. I'll take it back to the start. If you use this pen here for ShowHide Create Events, this will bring up our panel here. Okay. So we'll play the video. Now we've got serve, and that was an unsuccessful serve. Now, do you notice as soon as I click on the button, it takes me on to the next tab without me having to click on the tab itself, and automatically brings me back as well. So again, we've got serve, unsuccessful. Serve, successful. I'm going to pause it there now because it's going a bit faster than I can use. What I can do is use these frame forward and backward buttons to go through the video one frame at a time. So you can just click it really fast and go back to where you need it to be. So we've got, that's the starting point there we want. Now that's a dig and it's successful. And same again there. That was a dig, successful. And there's a spike, successful. Okay, so that's a set, successful. And a spike, that's successful. Okay, we've got a set, successful. And we've got a dig, that's unsuccessful. And we've got a serve, that's successful. And we had a serve that was unsuccessful. Okay, so we'll just use these as our tags. Obviously we'll go through the whole match normally and tag it in that manner. Okay. This button here, ShowHide Events, when we click this, you can see here all the different events that have happened. So we've got the first 3 serves, and you see now that we've put these categories in, we can have this unsuccessful or successful. So we've got the first 2 serves that were unsuccessful and the 3rd serve that was successful. We got some digs, some spikes, sets, and so on, and the values on each one there. What we can do is we can click on any of these. Let's say if you want to see this successful dig here, we can double click it and it'll take us to that position. So there's the successful dig there, and so on. If you go to this spike, now looking at this, our events are too long. You see we've got duration of 10 seconds there for each serve, but it's actually, these events are happening quite quickly with each other. So when we go to this spike, we've got a pre-roll of 5 seconds, so it was actually on probably about 28 seconds that spike happened, but the pre-roll's taken it back to 23 seconds. And the duration is 10 seconds. So this is where I would now need to go back into my tagging panel and change the durations. We can do it from here though. If we use this button here, and this will maximize what our event is. So you can see there, 23 seconds is the starting point. So if we go back there, 23 seconds is this point here. And it lasts for 10 seconds, the duration is to 33. Now if we scroll it through to where we find where the spike is, which is just there, what I can then do is move this forward to around the right area. So that's our event starting instead. Oh. So our event now starts at 28 seconds, and you can see it there. So if we now click on it, there's a successful spike. Now we would have to go through and do this for each one, or go back and revise our tagging panel. I think probably the easiest way of doing it is revising the tagging panel, having a shorter pre-roll, a shorter duration, and we can do it from there. But what I can do with this, okay, the data is not going to be exact, but I can show you some of the things that we can do with this. If we go to this button here, this ShowHide Search Events, we can type in, I think, let's say if we type in dig and do a search, that's going to bring up the 3 digs that we had tagged. So we can then click on any of those digs. We could publish these as a movie using the publish, or we can add it to the storyboard. And if you look at the previous videos, once things are in the storyboard, you can do a lot of things like creating media books and all that sort of stuff.